Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Club Junkie podcast. Hopefully, everybody got a good week. We got another one down. We're into June. I think this is the first episode of June. No, I think my last one came out a little late. But anyway, welcome to June. Getting close to summer, and hopefully, you guys are playing some golf, getting bags dialed in, all that. Because I know I'm trying to. It's been a struggle, and it's going to be a struggle, but I keep trying to. So before we get into today's episode, I just want to let you know this episode brought to you by Titleist Vokey SM9 wedges. And the Vokey Design SM9 wedges are a product of superior handcrafted technology, each one an instrument of creative control, created from the most advanced materials, engineered to deliver ideal flight and spin, with grinds designed to release your best wedge play possible. There are many ways to make a wedge, but only one way to make a Vokey. Titleist Vokey Design SM9 wedges, superior handcrafted technology. Find yours at Vokey.com. So I'll go mess around with the Vokey wedge builder, because man, is that fun. I know I say it every time I do it, like the little Vokey read, but I love going in there and just messing around and building wedges and all that. It's an absolute blast. So yeah, but hopefully everybody's having a good one. It's been a crazy week in the golf world with the news with PGA, Live, DP World Tour, all that. I mean, if you follow golf, you've probably been reading along, seeing what's going on. I don't have much to say else about it. I mean, it is interesting. It happened insanely fast. I mean, I figured at some point some type of merger or some type of agreement would come into the works. Never expected it to happen this early, and then all the talk about why it happened and all that. And the players who got money and didn't get money and all that. It's pretty crazy. It's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out. It's going to be really interesting to see kind of how things look after this year as they start combining these different leagues and all this stuff. It's going to be definitely an interesting time in golf. And I think when the dust settles, I think it was like Rory or somebody said, in 10 years, this will be the greatest thing for golf. I think, yeah, in time, it will be definitely something that grows the game, but it's just a little hard to understand, at least now. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'll be following along, and just like everybody else. So, but we come here to talk about gear, not so much current events in golf. So I'm excited. I'm recording this on Wednesday, so I'm recording this night before. Excited to get into league. I missed last week because I was out in Carlsbad in California, hanging out with everybody at Fujikuro with a couple members, all that. It was a blast. And now I'm back. I'll be back into the league, and we'll see. This week, what's in the bag is going to be a little different. I've kind of got a few things narrowed down. We're going to go and see how it is out there. I got to figure out irons and wedges. That's kind of the last part. I think I know what I'm going to bring, but we'll see. Right now, for driver, we'll just get into what's in the bag because I know everybody wants to know. For driver, we're going to go Stealth 2, standard head, not the plus. Stealth 2 standard. And I'm going to be rocking the new Mitsubishi 1K Pro Blue. So the brand new one that just came out. I got a 60X there. Got it shafted up, gripped up, cut, everything. I did that the other day. So that's ready to go. And we'll have that. That's a 10.5 head. I'm going to set it neutral, 45 inches. That Tensei 1K Pro Blue. I'm really excited to try that shaft. I mean, I liked Tensei White when it came out. I hit that a little bit and actually kind of enjoyed it, even though I don't play a lot of low launch, low spin shafts. But I thought that and Ventus Black were two really good options and kind of went back and forth between those. Blue is kind of more my jam. I really liked CK Pro Blue. AV Blue and I didn't get along quite as well. And then I'm hoping that this one I really like. So I love the look. The 1K stuff looks really cool. The 1K fiber or whatever up in the handle. And then, the little kind of holographic Tensei logos on there are pretty cool. So overall, shaft looks really good. And we'll see how it goes. It's the one interesting thing is that on their site, I know most of the blue profiles have been kind of mid-launch and either low spin or mid-low spin. And this one is mid-launch, mid-spin is how it's listed. Now, of course, I mean, we all know that, just because a shaft is listed at some spec doesn't mean it's not necessarily going to play that way for everybody. So, even though it says mid-spin, I may find it to be a lower spin. I know the Stealth 2 head is a little bit, lower spinning as well. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it goes, how it feels. I'm pretty sure it'll be smooth. I mean, the 1K white is. All the Mitsubishi products, for the most part, are pretty darn smooth. But it'll be interesting to see, how the ball flies, how consistent it is, all that. I'm excited to play it, and it's the one. I remember Johnny Wonder sent me a text it's probably a few months ago now, that he basically said he saw it on tour, and he's like, "You're gonna like this one." So I'm got pretty high hopes for it. And I think that's going to be a good combo. I haven't hit that head since the winter. When I was hitting it, I think the Kylie White in that head, and I was hitting it on the simulator and hitting it really well there. We'll see how it translates out into the course. But that's going to be driver. 3-wood is going to be a matching Stealth 2 Plus, and I'm going to go with a Nippon Regio Formula B Plus 75. I had that, was a shaft that I played in a Maverick Sub-Zero for a little bit. And now I pulled it because it was just in a Maverick, and Mavericks didn't have interchangeable tips or anything. So I pulled that out of there a while ago, and it's been sitting in the drawer. And I wanted to put something a little bit heavier into that TaylorMade head, and something that's just a hair shorter. So that's going to be like 42.5 inches. I'm going to play it at standard, and the weight is basically, I think, 1 click back. So 1 click back from center. So it's whatever center would be, I moved it back kind of like one space. And we'll see how that goes. I know I've hit it that thing a couple times, and off the tee, it's an absolute monster. So I'm thinking that should be a pretty good cannon. We'll see how it goes up against the Callaway Paradigm Triple Diamond, because that's the one I've been kind of playing the most. We'll see how it goes up against that. And then you go down to hybrid. I'm going to go, speaking of Callaway, we're going to go Paradigm, the standard Paradigm, and it's a 21 degree head, turned down 1 to 20. And I've got a Ventus HB8 in there, so that is going to be there. And it's interesting. So I have AllFit, which does all the drivers, some fairways. Well, they have a hybrid setup, and it has a majority of the adjustable hybrids out there. And it has the Callaway one, which was pretty cool. And the adapter on it is like an inch long. It's crazy how long the adapter is on it to get it out there. But I've got the Ventus Blue, or Ventus HB Blue. 8X with an AllFit tip. I had an 370 AllFit tip, and I had that in Cobra King Tech Forged. I've had it in the Stealth 2 Plus. So, and now into here, I'll probably put it in the Mizuno head, the STZ that I've got as well. That's always sitting over there. So I'll probably mess around with all three, but it's kind of fun, man. This AllFit thing. I love the fact that you can take one shaft like that and move it across 3 heads, and kind of compare and see which ones work well. I've got high hopes for the Paradigm hybrid though, because I hit that hybrid with the Project X Hazardous Silver, and I didn't really love the Hazardous Silver, but I hit the club pretty good. And drivers, fairways, I've hit that Hazardous Silver and all those, and I just haven't really gotten along with it that well. So it would be nice to get this out there and hit it with that HB, something I know I've had success with. So, and then we'll go into the 4-iron, which is going to be the Ping Eye crossover. I just don't know what I'm going to do to I can put the Cobra King Tech in. I mean, I've got the Tour Edge tie utility, all that, but honestly, man, this Eye crossover is just. It's long, super easy to hit off the deck. I mean, just you name it. It's just one of the best 4-iron I've pretty much ever played. So if it would just sound and feel a little bit better, that would be amazing. But excuse me, that'll be the top end of the bag. And then putter, I'm going a little different. I'm going Odyssey 5, the Tri-Hot 5K, number 7, CH with the plumber's neck or the crank hosel. And I just glued up the new Nippon NS Pro putter shafts. So I got all 3. I got the 120 gram, the 140 gram, and the 160 gram. In this head, I'm actually going to go the 160 and see what it feels like, because when you hold them in your hand and you have all 3 and you kind of feel them, the 160 feels like a tank. It's super heavy. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays in here, but those shafts are supposed to be more stable. A little, the heavier weight adds some stability, takes away some of the bending of it, and it's also supposed to, reduce some of the unwanted vibration as well. So got that, and I've got a lambkin deep etch cord on there. It's a lime or like neon yellow Bettinardi one that I remember I found on like eBay or something like that, or Amazon for like $10 each, and I bought like 5 of them. So I threw one on there and cut it down to 33 inches, and they're just a hair over that. So that's going to be the putter. And then irons, I think I'm going to go... I've got a set of irons sitting in the bag right now, but I think I'm going to pull those out. And I think I'm going to go either... I think I'm going to go the Tour Edge 723 forged, the forged cavity backs. I hit those a little while ago, and I want to get them back in the bag. The other thing is I want to get the Cobra King Tours back in the bag. So last time I played those, I shot really, really well. So it's probably going to be the Tour Edge, but there's a chance that at the last second I switch out to the Cobra King Tour. It's just an iron that Cobra King Tour I really like. I was hitting it out at Fujikura. They had one with an Axiom 105S, and I was hitting that, and I was really impressed with how well those played. So that could be the combo set I build. But these, I want to get some more swings on these Tour Edge forged irons. They just look really good. They really do, and when you hit them flush, they feel good. But I want to get a few more swings in there, a few more holes on there, so that I can talk about them on the show. So those will probably go in there. And then wedges, I think I'm going to go and just throw the TaylorMade MG, or actually, I thought I was going to just throw the MG3s in there, and I think I might throw the Titleist back in. I might go 54D grind, the 60T grind, and the 50, excuse me, the 50 will probably be my old SM8 50 12F, that thing there. I really like that 12F 50 degree. It's got great turf interaction. You can hit it around the green. You can kind of slam it into the turf. It just pops back out. It's just really nice. So I think that's going to be the setup. And then ball, I don't know. We'll probably play Pro V1X. I was playing the Srixon Z-Star Diamond out when I was in California, and it's a ball that is really, really solid. But I think I'm going to go maybe jump back to the Pro V1X for a round and play that. And yeah, I think that's going to be the bag for tomorrow or tonight. Whenever you're listening here, well, it'll be the bag tonight. That's what we're going to roll with, and I'm pretty excited for it. So I think also waiting. I was hitting. I think I said last week I was hitting that Ping G430 Max 7 wood really, really well. Excuse me. I started running again, and man, chubby guy who hasn't run in a while. You go out and run. And it's taking its toll. I still get a little bit of that hemoglobin or whatever they call it there, because it was a rough go the other night. So trying to get back in shape a little bit, trying to lose a few pounds. I went to my cardiologist today, and the weight was a little scary when I stepped on that scale. So I need to do a little something. But that Ping G430 7 wood, I think is a G430 Max 7 wood. I think is taking the starting job after the way I hit it out in California. And I've got another shaft, I think, coming for it. So it may, even though I don't know why, I've hit this one so good. I don't know why I need to reshaft it. It's just got the Tour 2.0 75X in it. And I think I have a Ventus TR Blue 8 stiff coming that I'll just tip a little bit and toss in there. So that could be really, really good. But that thing, the way I hit it, I think it's knocking the PXG out when I go 7 wood. I think it launches higher, and it goes a little straighter. And I hit it off the tee twice out there. I hit it really good, so I think that thing's taking the starting. When I go to a course and I think I'm going to hit, have those shots where I'm going to need, 215 in the green or something like that, I may be bringing that bad boy. So it's going to be interesting to see, but I'm pretty excited, and I can't wait to shaft that thing up when it comes. Hopefully, I'll get Axiom soon. I know you guys always DM me asking about my Axiom review. I will definitely be getting that shortly, but I think the shafts are on their way to me, which will be pretty awesome. So that's kind of the tinkering side of it. And today, I want to talk about a set of irons, a nice set of irons that is going to be definitely in this rotation more and more. They're just a set of irons that I've just been really impressed with, and I don't know. I didn't think I was going to be as impressed with them as I am, but the ones I'm going to talk about are going to be the new PXG 0317 CBs. So the CB version, I know we saw these on tour a little while ago, but I have the STs, which are the blades, and we all know me and blades don't necessarily get along because, well, I'm just not good enough. But we've got the 317 CBs, which I do have to say look awesome. You know, the backs on them, the milling, the little pockets and all that. Super, super nice. Super good look. From address, they look really good as well. You know, very, very minimal offset, not much at all. Pretty compact blade length from heel to toe. I set them down next to my T100s, and I want to say they might be like just a smidge shorter heel to toe, and I think it's more toe shaping. The T100's got a little more rounded toe. This is a little more squared off, a little more blunt. It's got a little sharper top edge as well, but just the look of it, really, really, really good. They did a great job on this bad boy. I've got 4 through gap wedge, which is great. The 4-iron, of course, I'm not going to play because I need something that's a little more forgiving. But the rest of them are pretty darn good. And I've actually been playing the gap wedge a good amount as well, just to get some time in with it. And yeah, these things really, really solid kind of one-piece forged. I mean, you can already see like this 7-iron on the sole. It's got a little like, you know, chatter ding to it, and these things are just uber soft. You know, if you actually want to see them, you can watch this on YouTube if you search Golf the PRX Radio. I kind of just sit here at my desk and I toss clubs up in front of the camera, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But yeah, the CB is just kind of a player's iron version. You know, they brought it to ST last year, the blade, and now they have the CB. I think there was a lot of demand, I know, in the Golf WRX forums, because the ST, the blade, the 4-iron, or the 3 and the 4-iron, if you ordered those with the set, came with a CB that looked exactly like this. And then people said, man, I wish they made a whole set of CBs, and now they have a whole set of CBs. And they're touted that you can mix and match and, you know, make your own combo set and all that, which is pretty cool. Now, the 3 and 4-iron only come in CB, so even if you order a set of the blades and you ordered 3 through pitching wedge, your 3 and 4-iron are going to be, they're going to say ST on them, I think, 317 ST, but they will be the cavity backs. They will not be the blades. So, little interesting there. I mean, probably at 3 and 4-iron, do you really need to be playing true blades? Probably not, but the STs are really nice as well. I think I did a review on those last year when they came out. But the CBs, like, you know, as I said, I really like the look. I think they just look awesome. I think PXG kind of nailed the look. And say what you will, you know, your thoughts on PXG and all that, but I think the look of these CBs are really, really solid. The cavities are pretty deep in here. You can definitely tell they've taken away some mass. They moved it around here. The dead center weight in the middle is pretty much only for swing weight purposes. They will not sell you new weights if you go to like reshaft them or something like that. I have seen some sites online that do offer weights, different weights and things like that. But PXG, this is not an interchangeable weight for you to change. It's for something that they do as they build their irons. But these ones here, really, really soft. They're even labeled on the thing 3 times forged. So PXG says that they basically hammer this. They start with a raw piece of metal, pound down on it about 3 times, and then you're going to have vaguely this shape. It's made from 8620 carbon steel. So these things here, it would be interesting if you sent them off, got them stripped, and just had them raw. That would be pretty awesome. But they are carbon steel, 8620, and these things here, you know, 3 times forged. They also have milling everywhere, so the whole back is milled, the whole face is milled. When you run your nail over it, you really look, you can kind of see the milling on the face, so it's perfectly flat. And then they also say they do kind of a robotic polishing of the sole to ensure that every set is exactly the same. So I know I've heard that some in manufacturing, if you're having people hand polish these once they come out of the forging, you know, the soles especially, you can have a little variation in bounce and shape and radiuses and things like that. Having a robot do it makes it much more precise, and the sole is pretty narrow. And when you first look at it, it's not, and then you realize there's some trailing edge relief on it, so it definitely plays a little bit more narrow than it looks. Bounce is pretty solid. I don't know if they put the bounce number on the website for these. They do actually. So basically, your 4-iron is gonna be at 5 degrees, and when you hit your gap wedge, you'll be at 14. So pitching wedge, gap wedge 14, 9 iron is 12 degrees, 8, 10, and then down to 5 for the 4-iron. I do say the leading edge is pretty awesome too. They've kind of blunted that off. It's very rounded. It's not sharp at all. It almost looks like they purposely, you know, killed that. And typically when you have a blunter, more rounded leading edge, you're going to get a club that digs less and wants to get down into the turf less than one that's sharper. But overall, really, really great package. When you pull them out, they just look really, really darn good. The black ones look awesome too. I remember seeing some of the photos online of the black ones. They are really, really sweet. I was fortunate enough to get a set, and I've got the chrome ones, which I'm totally fine with. And mine are shafted with the True Temper Elevate 95s. So I've got those, which is the same as my Gen 5 tees that I played a lot of last year. So the same shaft, same specs, all that. And they play off a pretty standard loft. I mean, the pitching wedge is 46, gap wedge is 50, and 9-iron 42, 7-iron 33, and your 4-iron is 24. So pretty standard, if not nowadays considered weak. I mean, I know cavity backs, blades, all that have a little weaker lofts anyway, but these I would consider pretty standard by today's game. So yeah, looks out of the box, amazing. I think they look awesome. I'm super impressed, and I really like the look. Out on the course, they perform actually really, really well. I do to say, just like the STs, the blades, these when you hit them solid are just soft. They're just really soft. If you've got a Forge club from, a Forge CB from somebody, and you put these out there and you're able to blindfold kind of, the Folgers Taster's Choice blindfold and hit them, I don't know if you'd be able to say this is, softer, firm, or anything than some of the most popular forged cavity backs players irons out there. They're extremely soft. When you hit them solid, when you hit them in the center, it is just that heavy thud when you get down on the ball, and it just, you feel that ball kind of compress, go, and while these don't have a hot face or anything like that, you get to feel that ball kind of compress into the face, jump off, and that's it. The feel on them, I would put it up there with any other of these big names who big name forged irons. I think it's right up there with him, if not beating some of them in terms of the softness. Even when you get outside the dead center, when you start moving away from center, when you move it into the heel, you're still going to get a pretty darn good feel. As you move into the toe, you'll get a little more audible click. You get a little more vibration, a little firmer feel as you move it out into the toe or higher on the face. Anything in towards the heel still actually has some pretty good feel to it, which typically happens with blades and forged cavity backs. There's a lot of mass, and the dead, getting sweet spot into dead center takes a little bit of technology and work. So inside the heel, you typically do get better feel with it, and that is definitely with this iron. Launch and spin, I've got kind of a higher launching shaft, a higher spinning shaft, and these get up in the air with no problem. I think this is one of those irons that it's going to be very player dependent, very shaft dependent, your setup dependent on how these flight. I think if you're a guy who wants to set them up low and you put, a C taper 130, or you put, some low launch shaft in there, they're going to launch low, flat, and go. If you put something high launching like this, elevate and put it in there, you're going to be able to launch them high and hit high, soft landing shots. Which also bodes well too if you want to work the ball. If you're somebody who likes to, flight tee shots down and hit kind of that stinger, or, hit a long iron a little higher off the turf, and, you set a little more forward in your stance and things like that, you're going to be able to work the ball a whole lot with these bad boys. Mine, for me, will launch, I would say mid-high. They're probably not the highest launching irons in my arsenal, but they're also definitely nowhere near the lowest. I would call kind of a mid-high launch. Spin is exceptional. The milled faces are very flat. They can, produce very consistent ball flight, but spin is really solid, especially with the shorter irons hitting them off the fairway type lies. They are drop and stop. There's basically no release. If you hit it on some nasty rough, you'll have some a little bit of release there, but it's not going to be anything too crazy. It's pretty controlled. Anything off the fairway with basically, I would say, from 7 to 8 iron down, depending on course green, that setup, that ball is not going anywhere. It's hitting, it's stopping, and it's done. And the one nice thing about, non-hot, non-thin-faced irons is just distance control is so good. When you hit it solid, you know how far it's going to go. It's going that far. If you miss-hit it, you kind of know how far it's going. Like, you're dropping, if you just slightly miss it on the toe, you're losing at least 5 yards. That ball's coming up short. Maybe you catch the front of the green. Maybe you put it in that front greenside bunker. If you hit it off the heel, maybe you don't lose quite as much. And then if you blade it, you're going to generate some spin, and hopefully when it hits the green, you have enough spin to get it to kind of check up a little bit. But distance control is spot on, and as soon as you hit it, the quality of the strike is going to kind of give you the quality, the distance, the quality of that distance that you're going to get out of it. And long, I would say they're long enough. I mean, again, these are kind of one-piece forged. They're not thin-faced distance irons. So when you look at a 7-iron, which is typically like a 160 club for me, this is probably max at 160, where like a P770 is going to be, I could probably get 165 out of it when I hit it well. And, when I miss it, I don't quite lose as much. But when you hit these solid, they kind of hold up with anything else that are kind of in this range. You hit them against a T100, something like that, they're going to basically perform very similar in terms of distances. Again, spin is pretty solid. I feel like I've got a good amount of control with these. You put them up against some other irons that are very low spinning, and you can hit some kind of awkward shots. These, you definitely feel like you kind of have control all the time, and as long as you're putting a good swing on it, it's going to go in the right direction. Turf interaction, I think, is solid up here, where it's not as soft right now because we haven't had much rain and we've had some really hot days. It was like almost 90 last week, so the turf isn't quite as soft. But I have been playing these prior to me going out of California and all that. Turf interaction, I think, is really good. When the club gets into the turf, divots are really, kind of minimized more than some other irons. I would say, is it Srixon V-Sol good? Probably not that crazy, but I don't think it's too far behind. When this thing gets into the turf, it wants to get out quick. It doesn't want to dig. All my divots with this have been pretty darn shallow. Even my over-the-top, down on it, swing, when I kind of get that over-the-top, steep swing on it, the divots there have not been, have been significantly smaller than some other irons I've played. So that kind of kill leading edge, decent amount of bounce on it, all that. It does work great in turf interaction. For turf interaction, if you're, and I think even with these, if you're a shallower player, a picker of the ball, these sit pretty low to the ground. I think you'll be just fine playing something like this as well. And then out of the rough, they hit the ball well. The nice thing is they do have a little bit of spin, so flyers are kind of greatly reduced. I haven't really noticed anything that I've had a few lies that I was kind of conscious of, like this could really go. There's some grass behind the face, in between the face and the ball. Kind of watch out, and if you kind of account for it in the shot a little bit, it's probably going to come up pretty close to what you account for. Like there's nothing been, haven't had that shot where you hit it flush out of that flyer line. It just goes forever and you airmail the green. Haven't had any of that. Everything's stayed in play in front of me, and out of the rough, these things play really well. They put enough spin on the ball to get the ball to kind of hit and release a little bit on the green. Nothing too crazy. It's pretty controlled, and out of the rough, I haven't noticed that this thing, they get through the rough pretty well. I mean, if it's really nasty stuff, I don't think there's a club out there that isn't going to have the hosel grabbed and tugged a little left. If the rough is pretty mild, the blade's small enough where it gets through there pretty well, and you're going to hit a reasonably straight and reasonably decent shot out of there. Short irons, great. Super easy to hit. Typically, we don't need as much forgiveness in the short irons. When you get up to the 5-iron, though, they're not too bad. When you hit it low in the face, it's going to come out low. It's going to come out low with a bunch of spin. And sometimes you'll get away with it, and you'll get that shot to stop on the green, which you don't expect to happen. You kind of expect it to just, hit that green and just keep rolling off the back, and you'll find it, at some point, yards and yards behind the green. I've hit a couple of those into the green, and they've actually held way better than I thought. I think the first time I did it, I hit a shot, and I think it was the 7th hole on St. Clair Shores. Hit it on there. Just hit it super low, and I was just like, well, it's gone. It's going to maybe hit the green, and then it'll just, keep flying back. I was on the back fringe. I didn't think that thing would stop like that. And then I had one of those, one-handed Hideki moments where you hit one off the deck, and you just hit it, 2 grooves low. Never thought, figured that ball's gone. It's just going to hit the green and just waving the flag as it goes by. Again, was able to stop at the very back edge of the green. Still had, could still putt, which was nice. Except forgiveness on these is pretty good for what they are. If you go into it expecting that these aren't going to be a P790 or something like that. But for what they are, I mean, they're really solid. I mean, I would say these are probably just behind a T100, Titleist T100 in terms of forgiveness. I think the T100 stays online just a little bit better when you miss it, especially out on the toe. I feel like the toe shots on the T100 stay a little straighter than these. But again, for being a one-piece kind of forged cavity pack, they let you get away with some shots. And I think there's some players who, at a little bit higher handicap, who, you know, like myself, who probably is flirting with should these go in the bag or not. PXG is giving you enough forgiveness that you can get away with a bad day and still not post a monstrous score, which is really nice. Overall, I think they're just a really solid iron. Ball flight, again, I think I said it was kind of like mid-high, and it kind of depends on your setup. Again, if you compare it to kind of T100, which is, you know, the iron that I think most that I have, that I've hit next to these, that's probably most people have tried. But if you hit it next to the T100, I think these fly just a little bit higher, for me at least. And my T100s have Fuji Pro 115s, which are kind of a mid-high launching shaft. I think those fly just a hair flatter than these CBs. So really, really good iron. I was really impressed with them. I really like them. They're definitely in the rotation. I kind of almost want to do a little combo set of 8-9 pitch in the ST, or 9 pitch gap in the ST, and then play these the rest, you know, up till 5 iron, and then, you know, ping eye crossover. And then the gap wedge. So I've got the gap wedge in there, and I've played that a little bit, and you know, the gap wedge for me has always typically been a 50-degree sand style gap wedge. And I put the gap wedge in there, and on full shots, absolutely great. It hits, you know, it keeps ball flight consistent with the set of the, you know, the standard set of irons. Everything on full shots is great. Around the green, it's not bad. That milled face, the milled face and the grooves there, it definitely has a little bit of spin. I don't know if it necessarily spins more than like a Vokey or a Cleveland or something like that. It probably doesn't, but you can play some shots with it. Now, opening the face and things like that are a little more, they're just a little more awkward to the eye, because it's not that you can't do those things with it. It just looks a little different. But the performance-wise, it does really well. Again, it is pretty high bounce compared to some other, you know, gap wedges out there. So depending on how you play it, it may or may not fit in your bag. But if you're somebody who hits more full shots with a gap wedge, it might be interesting to see about adding it to your set, because it is a pretty solid piece, and it does flow really, really well with the rest of the set. And I do have to say, it can help you give a little more forgiveness on those full shots too. If you don't quite hit it center, I know some of the sand wedge style gap wedges can, you know, you can see some drop off with ball flight. The PXG one, the gap wedge, it holds its own. It definitely keeps, you know, much like the irons, it gives you a little bit of forgiveness on that. So the 0317 CBs, definitely a really solid iron. Definitely really impressed. Really like them. They're definitely going to stay in the rotation of my irons that kind of go out and play. I really like them, and maybe I will throw a little combo set with the STs and see how they play out there, because that would be pretty interesting. So if you want to check these out, you go to pxg.com. They even have a kind of a cool little thing where they let you like kind of put the irons. It kind of has a setup where you can click whether it's an ST or a CB and kind of see how the two iron heads look next to each other, or from a dress. So that way you can kind of decide on, you know, where you would want to kind of do your combo set if you were going to order one. But a set of these 4 through pitch, right, just under $1,200, I think. So I think it's like 180 a club, something like that. My math isn't great, but if you go on there, you can definitely build them, or, you know, go to your local PXG store or whatever and get fit. But a really solid CB. If you're looking for, you know, a player CB, I think they're worth trying out. You know, I think the soft feel alone will kind of win you over. So also too, if you like, when you look down at this iron, it's got just a little bit thicker top line, and I think that kind of helps with giving you the confidence that, hey, you know, maybe you don't have to be as super precise, but it's got just a hair thicker top line. When I was kind of comparing it to my T100 here before I started recording, and definitely just a little bit thicker on the top, but definitely thin. I mean, it's still thin, just not razor thin. So check out the 0317 STs, pxg.com, but a great set of irons. I really like them, and I'm going to continue, you know, playing those and getting them in the bag. So I don't think they'll go this week because I played them 2 weeks ago, but I think they'll be in the bag shortly. So check those out if you want to. And then, yeah, before we get into the next item on the list, just wanted to have you checked out yet the new KBS GPS putter shaft. So this is the first graphite putter shaft from KBS, and it's kind of a new era for them. They basically made a high-performance, premium crafted composite shaft for putters, and it's basically built to ensure accuracy and better feel along the greens. So super low torque, high-performance shaft, and it basically minimizes deflection bend commonly found in traditional steel putter shafts. So on longer putts or even shorter putts, you're going to get better distance control, more accuracy, and getting the ball to start on its desired line. So they're incorporating materials that produce unique superior feel that only is done by KBS Golf Shafts. So go to kbsgolfshafts.com, check out the GPS putter shaft, and they make it in a bunch of colors, bunch of different options. It's pretty cool. So I'm hoping to get one soon so I can try it out and report back. But they look pretty cool, and I want to try them out. They make a ton of different colors, which is pretty awesome. So you can match, contrast, whatever your putter. They make a chrome one to make it look kind of like steel if you don't want colors or anything, which is pretty awesome. So kbsgolfshafts.com. Check out the GPS graphite putter shaft. So the next thing we're going to get into, which I know some of you love, some of you don't. It just, depends. We're going to talk about another shoe. So I kind of forgot that I didn't talk about this shoe yet, which is pretty interesting. And now when you look at it, it's going to be kind of dirty and whatever. But it's a shoe that I really do like, and I didn't think I was going to at all. And I've kind of liked it more and more the more I wear it. And this is the Adidas ZG23 BOA. So ZG23 is going to be kind of like a high-end tour shoe. And this is the BOA version, which instead of having laces, has the, I think they're like Kevlar type, strings on the side that you tighten down by just turning a dial. So pretty cool system. If you've never worn BOA before, it's definitely something that's a little different. Their claim to fame is that the BOA system is supposed to offer you, good support without pinching or, tightening, or what they call hot spots, where if you pull your shoes, maybe the bottom portion is tighter than the upper portion and things like that. But an interesting shoe in terms of looks. I think it's one of those. This is the white and, what do they call it? White and, hold on, let me see what they're, solar red. Yeah, so this is going to be white and semi-solar red. So kind of more of an orangish color to me than red, but solar red. And instead of having any laces, it's got this BOA and these kind of two straps that kind of go over the side. And if you look on the inside arch, they kind of like intertwine over each other. So you've got three kind of points on the other side of the shoe where it pulls it down, and as you tighten it, it kind of, stretches those sections over your foot. But a very interesting looking shoe. It's got the three stripes on the inside of the toe, which is kind of interesting. That's the only place you really see it. The logo on the back, logo on the tongue, but the three stripes, which are usually very predominant there, are only on the inside toe. They've definitely got kind of a mid, I would say kind of a mid feel to them in terms of width. These here, they're not crazy wide like, I'm trying to think like a True Links wear or something like that, which is really wide. These are definitely not that. They're definitely more traditional in width. I would call it medium. They're definitely not narrow. I have a pretty medium foot, and they fit very, very well. Comfortable right out of the box. I'm always worried about these kind of like tour shoes because sometimes they're very stiff, especially with these like heavy plastic molded bottoms. Always worried about having, they're extremely stable, but you're always worried about kind of breaking them in. Are they going to rub your heel or rub somewhere wrong? All that. And I brought these out. I think I played 18 with them in a cart first. Realized I really liked how comfortable how comfortable they were. Got them out onto the course and walked a couple nines with them now so far. And really like them. They're not Boost, but they're the Light Strike Pro cushioning system in them, which actually is really, really soft. I've got the Ultra Boosts over there. They feel great. These have a little less bounce to them, but they're still a really soft cushioning. And they definitely are a much stiffer and more stable shoe. The bottom there, interchangeable cleats, but it's also got some pretty big knobs along there as well. So when you look, there's not only the interchangeable spikes, but some pretty big kind of squared off knobs that offer pretty much traction anywhere. They're whether you're in the rough, bunkers, whatever, these things keep you pretty much planted to the ground. Spikes have held up well, even walking across the parking lot a little bit and things like that. The spikes have held up pretty decent. And BOA, when BOA first came out, I remember I tried a pair of FootJoys with BOAs and I hated them. I never felt like my heel would stay in the shoe. These, I now own 2 pairs of BOAs, a pair of Asics and these, and I do have to say that I'm kind of starting to like the BOA system. It's pretty nice. It's got, it lets you tighten the shoe without making it like too tight. You don't have to crank it down to the point where it's just like, crushing your foot. And your foot really stays in there. And so basically, I think they even say you get in there, put it on, tighten it down to whatever comfort level, walk around a little bit, and then give it a few more clicks, and you'll be in. And that pretty much is it. Now you can go too far, go into making it too tight, and I have done that a little bit. And where this little dial is, it was kind of like digging into my foot a little bit, only because I did tighten it, and now I kind of know where I'm good. And it only happened on one shoe because I made it too tight. The other one was fine. And now, as long as I don't go too crazy with tightening that thing down, they feel perfectly fine. So, which is it's kind of weird that you're not trying to make it as tight as humanly possible, but they definitely are extremely comfortable once you do that. Traction's phenomenal. They're waterproof. The whole top is like a synthetic material. It's not trying to be leather. It's a synthetic material, and I believe it's actually done in like with partly made with like recycled material. So they're doing recycled, kind of plastics, things like that on the top. So it's kind of a synthetic material, but waterproof. I've played with them. I haven't played with them in the rain or anything, but just walking some of the courses in the morning, they're totally fine. Stability is phenomenal. When you're standing over a shot, like you just feel kind of locked in. Like these things don't move. Have not had a foot slip through any lie yet. I mean, whether you're walking up, a side hill line around a green, walking through a bunker, any of that, these things stay, rock solid and locked down, which is pretty cool and pretty nice. Even some bare tee boxes that are missing some grass and you're hitting off kind of more dirt than anything. These things stay locked in. Where I've had some spikeless shoes have a little bit of slip, say like the left foot, or something like that. But these have not had anything. But overall, I've just really liked this shoe. I didn't think I would. I thought it was going to be really stiff and kind of uncomfortable. Adidas and I are a little bit hit and miss in terms of fit. But this ZG23 has been really, really solid. And the biggest thing that's been surprised with just kind of how soft the cushioning was. Since it wasn't a Boost shoe, I figured it would be a little firmer and it wouldn't have a whole lot of give. And I'm a fat, heavy guy, and it definitely does. It's got a really soft cushioning to it throughout the whole foot, whether heel to forefoot. They feel really, really good. So I've been impressed with them. If you need a crazy wide shoe, you may have to go to the wide, which I believe they do make. But I consider it kind of mid. It's a little narrower than some of the Asics like the Keanu, but it's probably not. It's probably along the same size as like the Hideki shoe from Asics in terms of width. It's pretty close to that. But yeah, a little on the traditional medium side there, but just great stability. Really comfortable to walk in, and kind of surprised me with how much I like these shoes on my feet. So looks going to be hit or miss. Some people will see them on my feet and they'll really like them. Other people kind of say, what the heck are those? And they don't. And, hey, I mean, style is style and everybody has their own thing. But Adidas, I think, made a really, really good shoe here. And I would like to try like the laces one as well. They make a laced version, also. And it'd be interesting to try that one versus this one. But the BOA one has been really, really good and really comfortable. And I'm pretty sure the Z23, the standard one, or the ZG23, the standard one is probably, very, very comfortable as well. So overall, a really great shoe. I've been wearing it more than I thought I would, and I've been enjoying it. So it's definitely one of those that surprised me this year. I didn't think this was going to go on my feet for much more than a few holes, and now I'm wearing it quite frequently. So if you're looking for kind of a stable, I guess if you want to call it like a stable, like tour type influence shoe, but a stability shoe, something a little stiffer, that has great traction, great support, and some really, really good stability as you're standing there hitting shots. The ZG23 is really good. It's pretty lightweight. I mean, even with the BOA system, that's not very heavy. I mean, it's a little heavier than some mesh shoes, some of the mesh sport shoes, but overall pretty lightweight and pretty easy to walk in. I've been walking 9 holes at a time with them for a few times now, and lightweight, easy on the feet, and I've really enjoyed them. I think they're really more comfortable than I thought they would be. So if you go to Adidas.com, go over to golf shoes. The ZG23 is there in the standard and BOA, but the BOA I found to be pretty comfortable, so I've been enjoying them. But check those out if you're looking for something around that with a shoe. I think these are $220 with the BOA. I think $200 with just the standard laces, so a little cheaper if you want just the laces. But AdidasGolf.com, and I think that's all I've got for this week. So hopefully, excuse me. Again, you guys have a really great week. Enjoy it. Play some golf. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, please subscribe, like, whatever. Be awesome. 5 stars, whatever they have to do. If you're checking this out on YouTube, search Golf WRX Radio. We'll come up there. Please subscribe, like, all that. Even throw some comments down. I try to get in there and answer all the questions or comments that people have. And follow me on Instagram, @ClubJunkiePod. I know I just did my Q&A yesterday. It's awesome. Thank you guys for all the questions and all that. It's always fun talking golf, talking gear with you guys. So thank you for all the questions and everybody who participated. But anyways, that's all I've got. Hopefully you guys have a good week. We'll talk to you next week. See ya.